Oh, this fit? Thanks for asking. I actually wore it to match the Suns' effort tonight.
Huh?
I'm a blue-collar boy. Psychos and sickos unite for a damn we needed that win edition of the PHNX Suns post-game show. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5, get $150 in bonus bets. Hi, I'm back. I'm Eric. That's Gil. We got the freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Steven will be calling in live from the Morg as the Phoenix Suns put the Warriors to sleep. It was a close one, but 99-98, a clutch win for the Suns. Their first win in 10 days, their first win after losing 2 games, and their first win over the Warriors this season. Devin Booker went crazy in the second half. Dillon Brooks had a great first half, and of course, some blue-collarness to speak to tonight. But first things first, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a member today. Boy, did I miss talking basketball with all of you. Gil, Suns picked up a win tonight.
I miss talking basketball with you, and I miss talking about wins, and I
Let's
can do
go.
both things tonight. What a win, much needed win. A lot of things to talk about, a lot of good, a lot of bad, and more ugly than anything. But at the end of the day, the W is all that matters, and the Suns got that, and I'm happy to say that.
Look, there were some ugly things tonight, and we'll get to that. I think it would be a disservice to just talk about this game in a positive light, because if the score was 99-98 Golden State, we would be sitting here just immediately ripping on the team.
Yeah.
Just immediately diving into like, this is an unacceptable performance. You can't let Brandon Podziemski put you away like that. Like Guy Santos, brother, like you can't let him do that. If they lost this game, if it was a 2-point swing, then this is a completely different start to the show. So I want to acknowledge that, because I know I see you guys in the chat. You guys are like torn. Half of you are super happy and half of you are super upset. But let's start with the good. I think it's very fitting to name the good win our blue collar boy of the night, Jordan Goodwin. Look, I can read his stats for you, and you know why he's here. Either way, Jordan Goodwin played 30 minutes tonight, by the way. 9 points, 3 of 12 from the field, 1 of 7 from deep, but 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, a block. But of course, the most important is 1 of his 3 offensive rebounds coming with 0.4 seconds left on the clock. Gil, he gets fouled. He walks to the line. He bricks the first one.
He's wanting to make us sweat a little more.
And then he hits the second one. Suns win by 1 point, all thanks to Jordan Goodwin.
Yeah, I mean, they talked about it on the broadcast, but he had the mask on tonight. He just had a flair for the dramatic, I guess, what it was. Like, he just wanted to make us a little more nervous, missed that first free throw, step up, and coolly, as Devin Booker said, I've been teammates with Goody before. I knew he was going to make the free throw. I felt pretty confident about him stepping up and making that free throw as well. I kind of said he is his 1 put back per game, and I guess that counts as his 1 put back per game because it resulted in points, a second chance point at least. And, with 0.4 of a second left, it really gives you the confidence about that. But we always talk so much about him on the offensive glass. And, for him to be 6'3", 215, or listed at 6'3", 215, there's an argument for him being the best offensive rebounder at his position.
Pound for pound, it's definitely possible.
Like, it's up there for sure.
I mean, Collin Gillespie is also somebody who constantly grabs offensive rebounds. He had one tonight. Interesting game for Collin that we'll get into later. One, I'm glad the refs called the foul, because I'm being honest with you, the refs, 2 games in a row now, where at the end of the game, the refs, the Ferk the refs, which I believe we have a new emoji for that if you are a member. So, look, Jordan Goodwin didn't play a great game, but it's kind of symbolic of this win as a whole, right? Jordan Goodwin shot 3 of 12 from the field and 1 of 7 from deep, okay? He did not overall have a great game.
No.
But when it mattered, when it counted, he put the extra effort in, he put the extra energy in, and he made the game-winning play. And honestly, like when he went to the line, I wasn't feeling super comfortable. And my gut, or as on ASU show, we call it our jellies. We're not feeling too great, but I'm glad that he clutched up and he hit that free throw. And I mean, look, the boy's been out with a concussion, the boy, aka being me, but I've been pretty spot on. I don't think my bet hit. I don't know. Did my bet hit? My bet might have hit. I don't know if my bet hit.
I don't think Steph did enough for you tonight.
I did the PRA though. But I did call it. I said Jordan Goodwin's wearing a mask tonight. Just automatically give him the blue collar boy.
Yeah.
But you got there from a very interesting final possession, Gil. And I think let's take a step back and talk about the end of the game, right? Going backwards, let's talk about the shot that missed that led to the offensive rebound from Jordan Goodwin. About 10 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Booker has the ball in his hands. He is getting fouled, quite frankly. No call. Passes it off to Dillon Brooks. Devin Booker immediately jumps back up to the top of the key. Hey,
I got it. I'm ready.
Hey, here's the thing, though. If you've watched Dillon Brooks play basketball,
I have a couple times. Yeah.
You know that Dillon Brooks is taking that shot, which he did with about 3 seconds left to hit the side of the backboard. And then the ball fell into Jordan Goodwin's hands. All is well and good. The Suns win, but Gil, Devin Booker is not happy.
He was not a happy camper. And even through the buzzer, I know he was happy with the win, but you could see Dillon Brooks coming to him as soon as that full court pass from the Warriors didn't go through. You see Dillon Brooks was hitting with a, my bad, man. That was probably his third, my bad.
I bet he's still saying my bad, man, because Book was still in his grill about it afterwards.
Yeah. It was one of those moments where it's like, you know what? It's better to learn that lesson in a win than in a loss. If things had gone poorly, had it gone into overtime and the Suns had lost the game, now you're sitting there saying, man, my bad. I really got to get you the ball. But you win the game and you learn a lesson in a win. So, yeah, I'd expect the next time I'm more comfortable with Devin Booker, especially given the second half that he had, which I know we'll talk about. I like him shooting from 30 feet on the catch and shoot rather than Dillon Brooks on the hezzy pull-up from the right wing.
I don't, in theory, hate Dillon Brooks taking a shot like that. Yeah. He's been so good this season, not just in clutch situations, but just in general. We look at that first half, right? The first half was all Dillon Brooks. Yeah. 20 points in the first half for him. He was shooting great from deep, from the field. Yeah. He was the only reason why the Suns were even in this game. Now, the second half is a different story. He ends with 24 points tonight, 10-23 from the field, 4-9 from deep. Did grab 7 rebounds and 2 assists, which is really good to have 9 rebounds and assists for Dillon in any game at this point. But like in general, in theory, if there are 2 guys that I want to take that shot, it's probably Dillon and Devin. Now, I think Collin then comes in depending on the game that he's having. But what the problem was for me, and obviously the result ends up differently. Yeah. Missed shot, Goodwin offensive rebound, foul, you win the game. But like I said, one small thing changes. That's a 99-98 score. We're in overtime, and the Suns could very well have lost that game because Golden State had all the momentum. We're sitting here talking about an awful, terrible, boneheaded decision from Dillon Brooks. My problem was 3 seconds left. It wasn't just like, hey, I have to shoot it here. Yeah. You still had a little bit of time left, plus he held onto the ball a bit before he did take the shot, which he could have given it back up to Book, who clearly wanted it, right? Yeah. Book didn't want to defer to Dillon Brooks. It was also, Gil, he took a bad shot. Yeah. He wasn't open.
Yeah. Yeah, it was contested. It was
a bad shot.
It wasn't a great shot. And like looking at it now, before that shot, he was 2 of 6 in the second half. Far cry from what he did in the first half, kind of like you said. Devin Booker was 8 for 12 in the second half. So kind of understanding that, listen, if it was the other way around, maybe you can justify the decision a little bit more. It's not the right decision still, but you could justify it a little more. But at that point in time, it's like, look, we have a closer. Regardless, we have to go down swinging with him being the one that's swinging regardless of what the case is. So it's a lesson, again, learn, not even sitting here to pile on Dillon and, a thing that happens. And, my dad used to always say this about basketball, mistakes come in twos. And he made a poor decision the play before, right? Like the flagrant foul was interesting depending on who you ask about it.
Well, coming off of Sunday night.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Come on.
And he made some comments about officiating and he tried to make some backhanded compliments towards them, but that probably was on the back of their mind a little bit. And we said it, right? Like, and they said it too on the broadcast because of the parties involved, Dillon Brooks and Steph Curry. You probably know how that's going to end 9 times out of 10 with a flagrant foul. So probably human nature, that's on your mind, right? Like, I am half of the reason why the Warriors had a 5-point play to tie this game in the first place.
Right.
Let me redeem myself. Let me redeem this team and help out after messing up a little bit. So I'm sure that was somewhere on his mind, trying to fix that as well. And again, not ragging on him for it, because Jimmy Butler made a very tough shot after Steph Curry's free throws. Like, first three,
only attempt
only 3-point attempt all game. Quick trigger, very contested shot. And that's, funny enough, it's basically the same dynamic, because if he misses that shot, you're like, man, the Warriors probably wanted Steph Curry to get the ball on that play, regardless of what's going on. So, you see a little similarity as far as that goes, and he probably saw that as well. So, yeah, the full picture of all of that stuff, just a funny sequence, a weird sequence, and honestly kind of a fitting sequence the way tonight's game went.
Look, super weird game. We've got Devin Booker to talk about, Collin Gillespie to talk about, some good, some bad. Steven will be sending a sound calling in from the morgue. We have a whole lot to get to. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for spending your Thursday night, as we are a week away from Christmas. Can you believe it? But a gift-wrapped win for the Suns tonight. 98-98 over Golden State. We'll be back on the other side of our first break. Look, we like to have fun here on PHNX Suns, but life can get serious. We're talking serious injury, an accident. If that happens to you, a friend, a loved one, you need to be prepared and call the right people. Luckily, we've done the research for you and found absolutely the best team. It's the husband and wife law team. Mark and Alexis Breyer lead the most experienced team in Arizona, with multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. And the team brings hundreds of years of combined trial experience, and they are proud to make you and all of their clients promises. Now, nobody can guarantee the outcome of a legal case, but they promise that you have the right to trust them, and that they'll tell you the pros and the cons of your case so you can make an informed decision. That you can also cancel your fee agreement at any time for any reason, and you'll receive at least as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841, or visit their website at the link in our show notes, and make sure you tell them PHNX and specifically Gil sent you. And of course, we love telling you about our friends over at Branded Bills. It's a running joke on the ASU show, but it's not really a joke, it's reality. You walk into my closet, you'll see about like 20 to 30 Branded Bills hats. I'm addicted. I just can't get enough. Whether it's snapbacks, truckers, fitted, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style, plus custom headwear as well. We just released a brand new PHNX Suns Branded Bills hat that you got to check out at our locker at gophnx.com, but you can also get your own brand, your own team logo, whether it's a business or maybe a fantasy football team. Whatever you want, they have you covered. And when I say performance and style, I mean it. These are hats that I've worn to work out, to play basketball, to host shows. They're nice. They don't fall apart. The logo is made out of premium material, so it's not falling out. There's no stitching coming out of the sides. Hell, I even throw them in the washer sometimes, and they still come out to the other side looking damn good. Right now, you can head to brandonbills.com. Use code BBPHNX. That's BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as well as the Phoenix Suns take home a much-needed victory over Golden State, 99-98. They will play them again on Saturday, but on the road, so this one means a ton. Thank you all for joining us here on a Thursday night in the chat, including Espo, who's off tonight. He watched his daughter and his wife's play, so much-deserved time with the family for Espo, but thank you all so much for hanging out with us as well. Gil, it was a tale of two halves in a couple different senses tonight.
Yeah.
No more so than for our dude of the night, presented by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, visit playatgila.com for more details. It is Devin Armani Booker. Now, at the end of the day, Gil, not the greatest night statistically from number one. 25 points, 9-19 from the field, only 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 turnovers. But it was that second half. Because he came out and scored 23 of his 25 in the second half. And for the first time in honestly what feels like forever, it was like, hey, it was the Leo meme pointing at the TV. Hey, I know that guy. That's Devin Booker.
Yeah.
And it felt like that second half, he finally clicked back into it.
Yeah, I mean, you let him tell it. He took his core shorts off and switched to normal compression shorts, and that made all the world of difference. So if that's the fix, I'm looking forward to seeing him coming out of the gates Saturday playing well. But really encouraging to see him in the second half stick with it. the confidence. There was a run that the Suns went on that kind of flipped the game, where he had a pull-up jumper, another midi to kind of add to that, and then he made a pull-up three-pointer in transition.
That one, and it contested pull-up.
Yeah, that was the one where I was like, okay, he's got his swagger back a little bit. He was 2 of 4 from deep in the second half, and we talked about three-point percentages tonight. 25%, or no, sorry, 23% on wide open three.
22.9% coming in tonight on wide open.
I think he's somewhere like hovering around 20 since November 1st. So to see him go 2 of 4, because we've been trying to figure this out, man. This guy is a former three-point contest winner. Like, what's going on? Something's wrong. He's not himself. And if it is the core injury, if it was the base layer compressions he was wearing, whatever it is, it looks like he snapped out of it. So because in a game that your team doesn't even crack 100, to score 23 points in the half is very encouraging moving forward.
I mean, look, it was Dillon Brooks in the first half carrying it with 20 points and then fell off in the second half, only scored 4. Devin Booker had 2 points at the half, comes out, scores 23 in the second half. Now, we came into the season saying Devin Booker needed to be MVP mode, score 30 a night for the Suns to even have a chance.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the rest of the roster that that's not the case this year. But what still holds true is that if this team is going to reach its top potential, Jalen Green back, Grayson Allen playing, fully healthy team, it does not get there if Devin Booker plays like he had been playing for the last couple of weeks.
Correct.
It was too long of a stretch. Now, we all believe in Devin Booker. Us in this room, I don't think all Suns fans are fully on board with the Devin Booker experience still. I think a vast majority are, and it's a very loud minority. And then you got a lot of other outside fans of just basketball who have been really, really critical of Book this season. And I think in some respects it's been deserved. But we've always said, okay, the bounce back is going to happen.
Yep.
Right? We knew that he was going to snap back into it. He's had these lulls before, and then it's almost like he hits 1 or 2 shots in a row. Like you said, he gets to that midi bag. He gets that kind of midi floater range about 15 feet out, and all of a sudden it calms down. He was due for that in the second half. He was due for that games ago. It was too long of a stretch, and we cannot continue to see these stretches from him. He really needs to, next game, I think, get out to a hot start and sustain it. Because what we still haven't seen in a long time is an entire game. Yeah. Right? Think back to even the Houston game a while ago where it was like, oh, Devin Booker's back. I think he hit 2 threes early, hit a couple of shots
first quarter.
In that first quarter, and then he stalls out, right? The other game that he started quick, he ended up getting injured. That one was against the Lakers. Now we see it in the second half with this one. Gil, is it just as simple as these shots aren't falling, or was there something that you maybe noticed in his process that changed when they came out of half, minus the compression shorts?
Yeah, minus the compression shorts. Interestingly enough, I do think that there was something a little bit different in just the way that he was approaching things. I think that, we saw in the first half, actually, there was the play where he did not go at Quentin Post. And
I hated that.
Were upset about that, understandably so.
I was literally screaming at my TV, it's Quentin Post. His name is Quentin.
The exact same thing happened in the second half with Draymond Green, but still, he went at him, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that there was something mentally kind of clicked, and maybe it was him being more comfortable physically. And I think that with that, we saw it 2 games in a row now because he had a big second half against the Lakers as well. So now coming out of the gates a little bit stronger, I think is something we should expect to see from him, because of that confidence and the approach that he had in the second half. And, we talked about what he did in that run, and we talked about him not getting the ball on the play where it could have been a potential game winner. But there was that pull-up that he made that put the Suns ahead briefly before Steph Curry got fouled and tied the game up with 2 free throws. So there was just that level of confidence and reminding you that regardless of what's going on for the first 24 minutes, first 30 minutes, he is your closer, and that's so important to trust a guy like that, regardless of what's happened, short memory, reminding himself who he is. And I think seeing that confidence in his approach is going to be big moving forward.
I think when you look at Devin Booker, and you could take it to the first couple of weeks of the season when he was really playing well, and then the last couple of weeks where he is just fallen off of a cliff offensively, at least from a shooting perspective. His playmaking has still been pretty good. He's having the best potential assist season of his entire career with 19 potential assists per 100 possessions, which is nuts. But when he plays confident, it's not just you see it in the shot. I think you see it in the speed. Everything is just a tick faster when Book is in that mode, right? And I don't know if it's, okay, I'm overthinking things. Again, I don't know if it was the compression shorts that he was wearing before to help protect him from recovering with the groin injury, which I understand the team wants to be very cautious with. I don't know what it is. But when Devin Booker has played at his best this season, he's played fast.
Yeah.
At least just faster from a perspective of, okay, you're getting downhill a little quicker. That handle is a little tighter. And then the actual buildup to the jump shot, it just feels like everything is just in an extra gear there. That quarter step that he's slower, I think sometimes is enough with his lack of athleticism, top tier athleticism, to let a defender get a little bit more in his business.
Right.
The quicker that he is, I think the cleaner the shot is, and I think the more confident he is that it goes in.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too, like, we kind of joked around about the compression shorts or whatever, but I think that him acknowledging that he was uncomfortable with things pertaining to his injury kind of suggests that that is a big part of what's been holding him back. And you talked about the quick twitch, the first step, the things that he uses to separate himself because he might be at an athletic disadvantage sometimes as far as some other guys in the league because guys are so athletic in the NBA. And what it comes back to me is trusting it, right? So him trusting that injury, trusting that it's not going to give in on him, trusting that he can go at a big man that's under the basket. Because if you remember, the way that he got hurt was going at Jackson Hayes. So now you fast forward 2.5 weeks, he sees probably a similar situation, and first half didn't trust it, second half did trust it. So it does kind of feel like these small moments like that are breakthroughs. And it does feel like him being so adamant about getting the ball in this down the stretch in the clutch feels like he's had that breakthrough. So, these small things add up. And when you kind of think about it moment to moment, maybe he is getting back to that. And we should see more of that because I feel like he's regained the trust in himself and his body now after this process of getting back on the court.
Have you ever had to play in some sort of gear or warrant that's like completely out of the normal for you? And how much does that throw you off?
I had to play I had a bad shoulder when I played, and I remember I had to play in like a restrictive shoulder. Like I couldn't move it back and forth, and I absolutely hated it.
Shooting arm? No?
Off arm. But I still couldn't go for rebounds and stuff like that like I wanted to. And it was like athletic trainer's orders, and then like after 2 or 3 games, I like looked and snuck it off and like wore like a big T-shirt under my jersey so you couldn't tell. I was like, nah, I can't do this. It's like we're such creatures of habit. You're so used to it being a certain way, and like as soon as something can restrict your motion, you just don't feel like the same player anymore. And I feel like that's exactly what it is with him. I've never worn core tights, but the way he spoke about him, he hated him. So I don't think we'll see it anymore.
I mean, if it's supposed to be protective of your groin area, I can imagine it's tight in places that you don't want it to be.
That's restrictive.
Tight.
Restrictive,
yeah. Not the restricted area, the restrictive area. Well, you can't stop the Suns' motion. 99-98, they pick up a victory against Golden State. Yes, backed by their blue-collar boy, backed by their dude of the night. But there was a lot of other things that also helped get to this win. We'll take a look at the numbers. We'll talk about Collin Gillespie, and then we'll take a look at maybe some of the other performances tonight that left a little to be desired, and we'll do it on the other side of our second. Look, it is 7 days until Christmas, which is kind of crazy to say. So last-minute Christmas shopping can be stressful, but look, gift giving doesn't stop at Christmas. You've got anniversaries, you've got birthdays, you've got other holidays that you need to buy gifts for, and that's why I want to let you know about Aura Frames. Because right now, Aura Frames is going to give you $35 off with code PHNX for their Carver Matte best-selling frame. But what do you get inside the frame? Well, it's unlimited free photos and videos that you can pre-upload before you give the gift, so it shows up in a gift box that's included, and every frame is packaged in that premium box with no price tag, preloaded with pictures and videos. All you have to do is download the Aura app and connect to Wi-Fi. It's a great personalized gift that's also not too over the top as well. It strikes a perfect balance, and for a limited time, you could save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code PHNX at checkout. That's auraframes.com, code PHNX. The deal is exclusive to listeners. Frames run out fast, so head there now. Make sure you mention us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. And under any condition, I'm always trying to go to a live event, whether it's basketball, whether it's, not even sports. We're talking theater, we're talking music, we're talking comedy. I'm a live event kind of guy. And the best part about that is that I can find cheap tickets over on Game Time. In fact, I find the cheapest tickets on Game Time. One of the things that I love about Game Time is that the lowest price guarantee, they'll have the cheapest ticket, or they'll credit you 110% of the difference. I'm so cheap, I've tried this. I have tried to find cheaper tickets than Game Time for multiple different events. I just can't do it. Plus, it's all the pricing up front, no surprises at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying Suns tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and after you hit the subscribe button, there will be another button that pops up there, and it is for the Supporters Club. Join our Supporters Club like so many of you in the chat, like Deborah, like Buddha, like Kara, like Amna, like everybody who's got a green name. They get access to exclusive emojis like the Ferk the Rurfs emoji and so many more other Suns ones. I'm going to have to make a call about the Suns must-win one to get that back in there. Just $5 a month, plus you get a prepaid super chat for every month that you are a member. So once you hit that 1 month status, you'll automatically get a prepaid super chat. We'll read it here. Like we'll read some of your super chats a little bit later. Thank you for being patient with us. And thank you to Collin Gillespie for finding a way to get back into the game. 16 points for Collin tonight, 5 of 12 from the field, 1 of 6 from deep. So not the best shooting night from him, but 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. But Gil, he was in, and then he was out. And then he was in, and then he was out. Brutal.
Scared us. Worried us.
Brutal knee clash with Jonathan Kuminga. Hobbles off the court. Goes to the locker room. Definitely gets a shot at Toradol, which I got last week. Let me tell you, that stuff works. Gives you a shot at Toradol. Goes back out there like 10 real-time minutes later, maybe less.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. It was good to see him play like that and think that he was 1 of 6 from 3 and still had the impact that he had. 2 things. 1, he was 4 of 6 from inside the arc.
Yeah. Also
got to the line, was 5 of 5 from the charity stripe. So what that says, and you're the one, give you credit where it's due, pat on the back.
Oh, thanks, man.
You said that he needed to be a guy who stepped up in the absence of Grayson Allen tonight. And we talked about what we talk about oftentimes with Grayson Allen is putting pressure on the opposing defense. And in a game that is very ugly for both teams, and the numbers will show that, which we'll get to in a little bit, he was able to find a way to be impactful by scoring inside the arc, by getting to the free throw line and converting at the free throw line. So when we talk about his growth and maturation as a player, look, the shot's not falling for me tonight. How can I be impactful in other ways? And that's exactly what he did, and it shows in his performance.
Yeah. The thing with Collin that I'm really impressed with, the 1 of 6 from 3 and then the shooting well from 2 is good. Okay, statistically speaking, That's great. I think what's interesting is Collin Gillespie was a great story, and he still is, but was a great story and a surprise story. And I think back to that first Lakers game where JJ Redick was like, I can't believe we're going under on Collin Gillespie, right? Fast forward to the next Lakers game, LeBron James is in Collin Gillespie's grill the entire court. He's all up in there because now the book is out. Yeah. Right? He's on the scouting report.
Not surprising anybody anymore.
Pretty high. And when Jalen Green comes back and when Grayson Allen is healthy, things are going to scale.
Right.
But he's still going to be a primary guy that the scouting report looks at. It's not just the fact that for me he shot well from 2, but it's how he got there, which was leveraging his 3. Yeah. He had a lot of pump fakes, including when he came back from the knee clash. Quentin Post went for a 3 that he pump faked, and Quentin jumped for it. Yeah. Because honestly, if you watch Collin Gillespie film, he's going to take some pretty audacious 3s.
Yeah.
But he pump fakes it, bang, drives the rim. I believe he had one a little bit earlier in that game too, where he switched.
Yeah, he did. With left hand on the left. Right. Yeah, I like that.
He's crafty around the rim.
I like that.
And Steve and I talked about this over the summer, where he kind of needed to add a little bit more to his game beyond the 3-point shooting. And I think being able to leverage that gravity that he is going to be taking now with guys just completely closing out on him and selling out by all means, if he's able to add that extra wrinkle. Basketball is a game of counters, Gil, and if he starts adding that counter there, then maybe they can't sell out as much, which means he kind of has that defender in no man's land.
Yeah, exactly. Again, talk about growth and improvement, and now at this point, it's are you going to plateau, or are you going to jump into being another tier of player that we didn't even necessarily know you could tap into? And you pointed out perfectly, and we're longing for that day to come, and we knew Grayson Allen joined the injury report tonight, and we hope that nothing flares up with Collin's knee after that contact.
Honestly, that feels like
Grayson's back Saturday.
Adrenaline,
and Collin, because he went to the locker room twice, because there was the other point where it was did he leave the bench again? And he left very briefly and came back out there again. So hoping he doesn't pop up on the injury report on Saturday. But we talked about it time and time again. Eventually, hopefully by the end of the month, this team gets as close to full strength as it's been all year. And then naturally, he just has to move down 2 pegs on the scouting report. And at that point, he's going to probably have his way with other teams' second units. And that's going to be very exciting to see. His 5 assists were a team high, which, again, maybe want more assists from across the board, but that happens when you shoot as poorly as they shot tonight, but also a team high plus 14. So making winning plays, making winning contributions, winning efforts. We've seen that with Collin Gillespie tonight.
He's been awesome. And when he scales down, the best part about Collin is I think that his game is just so malleable. And I think he can play alongside really anything. And we talk about the counters, and it's not just offensively the threes and the layups, but the playmaking, like you mentioned. You have those three things in your bag as a backup point guard. I know there's been some talk about him starting, and I do think that he's good enough to be a spot starter. But if this team wants to be a good playoff team this year, which I believe is their expectation, considering we have not pretty much seen Jalen Green at all. And right now this team is 3 games above 500, 9-5 at home. And we're nearing up on Christmas when they just went through the most brutal stretch of their schedule. You need to have really good players off of the bench. The best teams always do. And Collin's going to be helped so tremendously by getting to share the court with one of Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and Grayson Allen at all times. Right? There should never be a minute where he's like tonight, one of the lineups that helped power things, Collin Gillespie and Jordan Goodwin were the 2 best offensive options. That should never happen when this team is fully healthy, and the pecking order will continue like we talk about with Book and everything like that. Beyond Collin, though, which the fan reception for him was amazing. The cheering for him to get back in there, the fans absolutely love him.
T-shirt night for him.
T-shirt night for him. The Weird 12's pretty good at basketball. Let's talk about some of these other players. A lot of conversation in the chat about Oso Ighodaro. Really weird stat line. I think in a good way for Oso tonight. Only 2 points, okay? Took 3 shots, 2 points. Not great. 13 rebounds.
Game high.
5 steals. Woo. And a block. Was Oso Ighodaro the best center on the court for the Suns tonight?
I think he was. It was a somewhat forgettable game for Mark. And you talked about last time these two teams played when Mark had 16 rebounds. You said it was one of his worst games of the year. Mark just, I won't say he didn't have it tonight, but it just didn't, you didn't really notice him out there a lot of the times tonight. And I think that was tough. But I think Oso coming in and making that impact, the 5 steals, I didn't even realize that in real time, that he had that activity that he had. And I think the most gratifying or encouraging part about that, I know plus minus will say one thing because Mark was plus 12 and Oso was minus 12. Beyond that, Oso had a tough game on Sunday. And we said that this wasn't a good matchup for him. It wasn't a good night for him. But for him to bounce back again a few days later, especially as a young player, and make his impact felt in a lot of different ways, doing the little things that do show up in the stat sheet. Sometimes they don't show up in the stat sheet. That just speaks to his resolve. That speaks to the confidence that's instilled within him, because it's very easy for a young player to have a bad outing and just have a couple more after that. And it just kind of piles up and it's like, man. But for him, or as we saw on the other side of things with Jonathan Kuminga trying to do a little too much, you're trying to do too much and play outside of yourself to just get back in good graces. But for him to stay within himself and make an impact like that, attack the glass against a team who has vulnerabilities there, is really impressive for him.
We'll keep talking Oso in a second, but want to welcome diehard Russell Smith. Just became a member, just became a Hall of Fame member, which is awesome. So we got to give him the chant. MVP, MVP, MVP. Thank you so much, Russell. You now get access to exclusive video content. Freckled Mamba was a part of a video that we just released out there. Really fun stuff. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. A diehard, a member. Get access to exclusive emojis and everything. Back to Oso Ighodaro here before we take another break and then look at the numbers. Because of the beginning of the season, which I was very harsh on him, there was even a point where I was saying this guy maybe shouldn't be in the rotation with the way that he was playing. And honestly, I think it was deserved with how poorly he was playing at the beginning of the season. I think because of that, he has now opened himself up to very, very harsh criticism, right? It's like you earn the reputation, and you can talk about it in the good way and the bad way, right? When you have a guy like Dillon Brooks, sometimes he can get away with things that other players can't get away with. Or Devin Booker, you're allowed to take shots that other guys aren't allowed to take, even if you're cold. You have this kind of earned reputation. Because Oso has hit such low lows, I think anytime in game he messes up or does something wrong, it stands out to maybe some fans more often than others. And when you have a guy who's a second-round pick backup center, you're not going to get perfect minutes from him every night. That just can't be the expectation with him, and it shouldn't be the expectation with him. 13 rebounds from your backup center, I don't care which way you slice it. in a 1-point game, that's like game defining. Yeah. 5 steals from your backup center, 6 stocks overall from your backup center. That's game defining stuff. He's a guy that when it's all said and done, if he can just get a little bit more consistent offensively, or maybe not make as loud of blunders defensively, because sometimes he does get a little bit lost out there from what I think overall is usually pretty solid defensive performances from Oso when the matchup is right, he's going to be a good role player in this league for a long time.
No, 100%. And I think everything that you outlined and explained is pretty commonplace for a young player.
And a backup center.
And a second-round pick. Like, I think that ultimately you really hope that these things come with time, and you should be confident that these things come with time because you believe in the coaching staff. You believe in his abilities because the highs have been high, the lows have been low, but that comes with the territory of a young player who is learning to play in the NBA. So, moments like the ones he had tonight, his ability to be who he is against a team like the Warriors and the unique challenges that they bring to a front court, an opposing front court, it's good to have that flexibility, especially as you work to become a contending team, because you're going to see different looks. You're going to see different types of teams, and to be able to employ a guy like that against this Warriors team who's right next to you in the standings, who you're trying to kind of measure yourself against, for him to be as impactful as he was in the moments that he was impactful, I think is big for the Suns team.
He has been good. Yeah. Now, has he been a great center? No, but that shouldn't be the expectation for him. I still think the Suns need another backup center, somebody who can maybe counter some of what Oso's weaknesses are. Hopefully, eventually, Kamal Malawach maybe gets the rotation this year. I know that you have much higher expectations for the number 10 overall pick than your alternate backup center. Clearly, Nick Richards is not that guy. Another DNP coach's decision from him tonight. And all in all, I don't think Mark had a terrible game.
No.
I just don't think that it was
that
his best, right? He had a couple good boards there, only 6 points from him tonight, but he also only took 3 shots. The thing with Mark is when the threes aren't falling, when other guys aren't really going offensively, it's a little bit harder for him to get going offensively because Mark doesn't go create his own shot. He kind of plays off of everybody else. Now, he can create so much gravity when there is kind of this pull, but when it's Draymond and Jimmy and these kind of tougher, shorter, stockier, stronger defenders, you don't just get an easy one. Because sometimes, okay, dump it into Mark, go for the post up, put the layup in, it's an easy one. You can't get that against this team, even though you have the size advantage. And if you're not getting easy ones the other ways because nobody else is hitting shots and like Devin Booker had 2 assists tonight, it's just not going to be your night as a center who doesn't have a lot of self-creation. So I'm not mad at Mark Williams' game tonight, but certainly you would expect a little bit more from him. We'll get to the rest of the role players, and we will get to the numbers. Steven will call in, and we'll continue to talk about a Phoenix Suns 99-98 victory. We'll do it on the other side of our third break. I pride myself on being a good gift giver, but sometimes the best gifts are the simplest gifts, and sometimes the simplest gift skill, well, it could be cash. And you want to have a little bit of a game, you can throw in the Arizona Lottery Scratchers. And this holiday season, it's the best thing made for gifting. You wake up on Christmas, Gill, you find Arizona Lottery Scratchers in your stocking. How are you feeling?
Hopefully lucky.
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully lucky, but I think that's part of the fun game. I know last year, my mom filled our stockings when we went and celebrated Christmas with my parents with Arizona Lottery Scratchers, and she was funny enough. She's like, I bought these before you guys even did the ad reads for Arizona Lottery because I thought it would be fun, and it was fun. We all gathered around, we scratched off with the quarters, and it was a great time. Won a little change, but I didn't win the big prizes. But you could win the big prizes with the holiday cash. And players can win up to $10,000 cash or free gas for a year at Circle K as well. Visit azplayersclub.com to learn more about all their points and promotions now. Play and gift today. Also, when a team is playing, you want to rep them, or at least a guy like me. I'm all about repping my team. I know that Gil's rocking some Suns merch right now, and if you're a Valley Sports fan, Rally House is the go-to shop for all your local Arizona team gear. They got in-house locations, Tempe, Mesa, Glendale, brick-and-mortar stores. You can walk in and see all the merchandise for yourself, but also they have a robust product selection online. I'm talking hundreds of pages for each team, not just the basics, your hats, your shirts, your shorts, all of that, but also the fun stuff. Drinkware, signage, coolers, socks, hell, they even have sunscreen, which clearly I need. And they only carry Arizona sports teams too, so find your local Rally House location. Shop their entire product assortment online at www.rallyhouse.com today. I know a lot of my favorite team gear that I get to wear, I found at Rally House. I always like to shop by in person because they keep on refreshing it. They keep on adding new stuff. So once again, find your favorite local Rally House location and shop their product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. Woo! Yeah. Phoenix Suns won 99-98. A big victory over Golden State, and then they play them again on Saturday. But thank you all for spending your Thursday night with Gil, the Freckled Mamba, and myself. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. 5-star reviews on audio. I know you hear it from every show that you listen to, and you hear it from every show on PHNX. We only ask because it does make a massive, massive difference. Let's go ahead and take a look at the numbers presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes, of course, the only number that matters. 99-98, the Phoenix Suns take home a victory, shooting 40.9% from the field. That's 36 of 88 shots. Better than Golden State. 39.3% from the field, 35 of 89. From deep, it wasn't pretty for either team, both shooting 28.6% from deep. Only difference, Suns took 35, Golden State took 42. Free throws, Suns shot 77% on 22 attempts, almost 90% of the line, 16 and 18 for the Warriors, 54 rebounds for the Warriors, 49 for the Suns, and 27 assists for the Warriors, 19 for the Suns. What number stands out to you, Gil, and what kind of looks like it should have been a Golden State victory?
Number stands out to me is the three-point shooting. The Warriors were 12 of 42, and that stands out because one guy on their team made 12 threes just a couple days ago, and his name is
Draymond Green.
Damn.
We'll work on that.
Maybe 12, maybe in practice, maybe in shoot-around. But Steph Curry made 12 threes on Sunday, and tonight he was 3 of 14 from the field. The Suns held Steph Curry to 15 points, and we talked about the heater that he had been on since coming back from injury. 48 on Sunday. I think it was 37 the game before that, 38 the game before that. So to hold him to 15 points, coming into the game, we were worried about what he was going to do. Was he going to continue that? We said there were going to be some shots that were just downright frustrating that made you upset. And what actually stands out to me, do you know who took the most threes in this game?
I just saw it.
Yeah.
My guy, our guy.
Quentin Post attempted more threes than anybody else, including Steph Curry. So honestly,
when you're shooting 20% from deep in the game,
you keep doing
you got to keep throwing.
You got to keep doing it. And I promise this is no bias against Boston College. My man, Quentin Post, you don't need to be taking more threes than Steph Curry in any game and under any circumstance. It does not matter. But that fits into the game plan.
And I'm about to say, do you think that was a choice, or do you feel like that was just more of a, okay, when the Suns play Luka, we're going to let Luka get his, we're going to take away everybody else. You go to tonight, the story with Golden State is everybody else can't do it.
Yeah.
So Steph can, so then they focus in on Steph. Now, They did get some good performances outside of Steph, but like you mentioned, only 9 threes attempted for him, only 15 points. It feels like it was intentional from the Suns.
Yeah, absolutely. And to see, I think that's what we've seen this year, and it's very interesting to talk about it this way because we've talked about how the team tried to limit Luka and Anthony Edwards and Shea because there's so much top-tier talent around the NBA, and how you manage them or at least try to contain them is really what defines your success as an NBA team. And to deal with Steph Curry the way that they dealt with him tonight, it was Jimmy Butler that hurt you, 31 points, and then it was Brandon Podziemski that we had a couple shots where it was like, you know what, we're probably living with that. And one thing that we said was, look, Pods made this shot here, and it's probably going to come back to hurt the Warriors because he's probably going to go for this again when the ball should probably go to 30's hands. And that's what happened. So I think that it's interesting to see, and I'll be very curious to see, which makes this really interesting to see this kind of home-and-home situation. Does Steph Curry look for his more on Saturday? Can the Suns kind of try this again on Saturday to really employ a similar circumstances and a similar, I guess, approach to defending this Warriors team?
Well, I think it's interesting because you kind of look down the line of top-end talent the Phoenix Suns have faced so far this season, and you kind of now have this laundry list of guys that maybe sometimes the stats were good, but they were made to feel uncomfortable. Of course, what kind of felt like the breakout party there was Victor Wembanyama, shutting him down to one of his worst games of his career after he was coming in off of a hot stretch that he was absolutely going crazy at the beginning of the season. right? You have Luka Doncic, who goes out there and says the Suns defense kind of messed with him because for the first time, they were letting him score and they were taking away the pass, right? And you have Steph Curry tonight with just 15 points in 33 minutes, but it wasn't like he wasn't looking for his shot. It just felt like the Suns played a really sound defensive game and got him a little bit uncomfortable, which is really hard to do. You have to give credit to some of the other guys, like you mentioned, for helping get you to the point where this was a close game. It felt like Jimmy Butler took 50 free throws. I can't believe he only took 9. Every time Pods hit a shot, I was so pissed off. I can't lie to you, man. I was talking to you. It's got to be the most hateable guy in the league, right?
I mean, it's just like seeing him out
no
there.
disrespect, but your own team doesn't like you.
No disrespect, but I think nobody. No disrespect, but nobody in the league is more hateable than you.
And look, man, here's the thing. We got Grayson Allen and Dylan Brooks on our team, okay? And those are two guys that were at the top of even my hateable ratings before. And so it's different when they're on your team, right?
To your point, to your point.
When your own team hates you.
It's none of my business. It's none of my business.
Oh,
but
my God.
I was getting to your point. I was going to say, there's always the guys well, you love him when he's on your team, but I haven't really heard that yet. But maybe. I don't know.
Dude, he was hitting some bullshit, man. It was
he had some the fader going middle of the lane was something I was like, you kind of just have to live with that.
When you're hooping at the park and you're on your 5th or your 6th game, right? Or pick up wherever you play. And you're I've seen this guy play basketball, right? And he's on the other team now. Maybe he played 3 or 4 games with you, and he's just terrible. And now he's on the other team, and all of a sudden he just can't miss. That's what it felt like with Pods tonight. It was dude, where was the Warriors? Probably dude, where was this when Steph Curry was dropping 40?
Yeah,
right?
They had some of that, a little more of that on Sunday or last Friday in Golden State. They probably wouldn't be on a 2-game losing streak, or now a 3-game losing streak after tonight. So it's interesting too, just to think about that and to see again how he follows that up this weekend. And speaking just generally to that rotation, the Warriors played 11, 12 guys.
2 guys got DNPs, and I believe Seth Curry was on the injury report. Will Richard is a rookie.
Yeah, the Suns had a pretty tight rotation. They played 9 guys, and I think when we kind of talked about it, and I know Grayson was unavailable, but we said this is going to feel like the postseason a little bit, right? And the rotations tighten up a little bit in the postseason, and obviously they're still going to tinker with things. Jalen's going to be back, Grayson's going to be back, and we'll see what the rotation looks like and how that changes a little bit. But I did take that away from it. Aside from that, the game felt like a pickup game. Aside from that,
dude, it was gross.
I said it at one point. I was like, when you've played one pickup game too many, it just gets real sloppy. There were 3 or 4 turnovers in a row, and I was like,
well, dude, it felt like these teams never played together.
Yeah, no, actually, that's exactly what it looked like.
Hey, y'all, nice. Hey, man, what's up, Collin? My name's Devin. Nice to meet you. That's what it really felt like. I mean, in the Warriors, the turnover numbers for the Warriors tonight, and
20 leading to 30 points.
That's a third of the Suns' points coming off of turnovers, right? A couple of clutch steals from Collin Gillespie. Now the funny brick. You know what?
Whatever that was.
Damn it, that's our Love the Play. Presented by Arizona Lottery. Play and gift today. Our Love the Play. Collin Gillespie back in the game. Post-knee injury. Gets the steal. Drives. And goes up. It was like a dunk attempt, but it wasn't a dunk attempt. Clearly travels because he just threw the ball to himself on the other side of the rim. And then gets the book and Quentin Post. I don't know why Quentin Post, because his name is Quentin, decided to, no disrespect to people named Quentin, but name the best basketball players of all time named Quentin.
Don't say that to Quentin Richardson.
That's true, Q Rich. I'm so sorry. You know what, man?
Suns legend.
That's the concussion. I was doing the 3 to the head a little too hard. That is yikes.
We'll bounce back. Keep going.
Quentin Post, way worse name than Quentin Richardson. We'll say that. But no, it hit the backboard, but it's a travel. But they didn't call it.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't call it, because guess what? I think Book went 1 or 2 from the line in that.
Yeah, let the points.
That point.
Let the points. So I was gonna say, I said it in that moment. I was like, I don't know why Quentin Post jumped on that play, because the only thing Devin Booker could do was get him off the ground, and he did. That speaks to the savvy of Devin Booker, and that's the second time that he went into somebody, because he didn't go into Quentin Post in the first half.
So you learn.
There you go. It just full circle, it all comes back to that, and for somehow it all ties back to that drive on Jackson Hayes on December 1st.
I'm blaming the Quentin Richardson for getting on sustaining a head injury and being in front of bright lights for hours. That is what I'm going to be blaming. Other than that, I mean, 16 steals to 9 for the Suns tonight, 6 blocks to 3. The largest lead for Golden State was 14 as well, and they led for 62% of the game.
Yeah.
This was a really, really gritty win for the Suns. And when you come off of losing to the Lakers in the fashion that you lost, where you stormed back, and then obviously all the bull crap happened at the end, and then the game before that is the largest loss in franchise history.
Right.
And you beat the Kings before that. That's all well and good. That's great. But then before that, you were losing as well. This is one of those games that you're going to look back on, and you're going to be really grateful the Suns won. And once again, Gil, we've seen this as their identity in these close games. You think about the 2 Minnesota games. They pull off a win tonight. They pull off of a win. The first game of the season against Sacramento, you're down, and then you storm back and you get a win. This is their identity.
Yeah.
You can get them down, but you can't get them out unless you're the Thunder in the Cup.
Yeah, we won't. We won't talk about that.
It
But
doesn't count.
But yeah, whatever.
Who could beat the Thunder anyway? Definitely wouldn't happen the next game.
But I will say there is definitely something to be said about winning ugly, because there are good teams. There are really good teams that don't know how to win ugly. And I think for a Suns team who is down a couple guys and has basically been down a couple guys all year, you name who the guy is, Jalen Green has been the one constant in that respect. But to be able to win ugly is a trait that teams just don't necessarily have. And it's an important trait to have, because playoff games, postseason games are ugly games, must-win games. We had an 8.7 on the meter tonight.
Suns must win.
Suns must win. A big game as far as the standings, because again, you have an opportunity to not necessarily deliver a knockout blow, but you can give a haymaker. Nice. Tonight was a body shot. The Warriors have lost 3 in a row. The frustrations are rising a little bit.
Yeah.
If you can hit them again on Saturday, that might cause the ref to start counting a little bit.
You might need to wear a cup on Saturday, because Draymond, with the one thing we know about him, he's going down.
He's going to hit back. But I say that to say, to be able to win a game like this ugly, it was about as close to a must-win as you could have. You get a 2.5 game lead over them. Timberwolves lost last night. You gain a game on them in the standings with the win. You're not looking in the rearview right now, but you're taking care of business. You're almost out of the gauntlet at this point. And, we know the Pelicans are on the other side of this. They beat the Rockets tonight. So the Pelicans are figuring some things out as well. So games against them will probably be ugly. So just to be able to win ugly games like this, because when you're a gritty team, like you talked about, a blue-collar team, like we always talk about, winning ugly is really important. And again, tonight was mostly ugly, but you come out with a win, and you can't complain about that at all.
Can't complain when you're missing 2 of your 3 best offensive players in Jalen Green and Grayson Allen. You're not just winning ugly, you're winning ugly shorthanded, and you're winning shorthanded this whole season. We're still waiting on an update from Jalen Green. It's been about 5 weeks. They said update in 4 to 6 weeks. I have to imagine sometime before Christmas, we hopefully get some sort of update on what his status is. Maybe it's a return against the Pelicans. Maybe he needs a couple more weeks, but looking forward to getting an update from him. Hopefully Grayson Allen's back. Hopefully it's nothing long-term with Collin Gillespie tonight. Obviously, we talk about the chaotic nature of so many of their games. We'll hear from Devin Booker on the chaotic nature of their games. We'll hear from Devin Booker on Oso's impact and how he's grown this season. And then, of course, we'll hear from Steven as well as we wrap things up on a 99-98 victory for the Phoenix Suns on a Thursday night. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after our final break. Look, it's clear over a long season that no moment is ever ordinary in sports. And of course, it's never ordinary also over at Bet365, the pioneers of live in-game betting, and something that I'm still trying to master. The thing that I love about Bet365 is they continue to up their game. This season, for the NBA season, which is where I like to do my betting, they've added trackers for the last 5 games on the stats that you are betting on. I absolutely love it. Still a skill issue for me. I can't seem to get one to go through the hoop recently, but I know that's going going to change soon enough. And right now, from Bet365, new customers get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5, get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT-STEP to 52342, or visit promgambling.az.gov. And there's a lot of things about me that you all know. And of course, one of them is that I rock with Desert Financial Credit Union until my face is in the blue, because I love DFCU and I've been rocking with them my whole life, and my parents have as well. My grandparents use DFCU as well. It's literally a family thing over in the Ruby household. And for more than 86 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community by providing financial solutions that just make life better. Now, look, that's of course the basic stuff, the checkings, the savings accounts, the advice on mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. But they also just want to give you money. Does that sound nice, Gil?
Sounds good to me.
Does that sound nice to get to $200 right now?
This time of year? Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty easy to do so. All you have to do is open up a free checking account online. Get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200 today. That's desertfinancial.com/200 to get $200 in bonuses when you open up a free checking account. Thank you all for spending your Thursday night with us. Devin Booker with the 23-point second half, and the Phoenix Suns take home 1-point victory before facing Golden State on Saturday. Apparently, I look like Matthew Murdock from Daredevil with these glasses. So either thank you or how dare you. I'm not exactly sure how to take that, but we'll keep rolling. I do want to hear from Devin Booker, who spoke on whether the Suns are used to the chaotic nature of many of their games this season.
No, I'll never get used to it. I think we've talked about it, just channeling it the right way. There's some great in there. Just sometimes the outcome isn't the best. And, these last two games, just the point of the game that they've happened in, have put us in a tough spot. So, we learn from it. We're a full unit. We're not mad at Dylan. We're asking him to bring that energy, bring that fight every night. So, on the other hand, there's gonna be times like this, but it can be controlled.
Yeah, it's interesting the way he closed that. We're not mad at Dylan. We're trying to just keep the chaos controlled. I think you hear that a lot. More so like AAU teams and small college teams.
Dude, tonight was an AAU game.
Control.
Tonight was the third game on a Saturday for the consolation prize.
Fresh off of some fast food.
Oh my God, they're so stopping at unbranded fast food place afterwards. It's gonna be crazy. But tonight did feel like an AAU game. Dude, Dylan Brooks feels like the dude who played. What are those pink and green jerseys that those guys wear?
Yeah, they always got some shenanigans going on.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks plays like he's on that team.
Yeah, no, but again, the controlled chaos, which obviously you want more control than chaos, especially at this level.
Sometimes you use the chaos to win.
No, for sure, especially against a team. Again, and that goes back to a point that we've kind of hit leading up to this game. It's desperation, and it looked kind of weird in this sense. But these are two teams who are fighting for their lives in the standings. Again, there's over 50 games left to play, so they're not fighting for their playoff lives. But they are trying to make sure their season doesn't go off the rails.
Yeah.
And for the Suns, it's more of we don't want to undo what we've earned with a surprising start. For the Warriors, it's, man, we are on the verge of things just going haywire. There's a lot going on with them. And I think that does sometimes result in a chaotic game where there is a sense of desperation on both teams. The shots aren't falling. Things get a little ugly. Guys are taking more shots than they probably should be taking. Whatever the case may be, it results in a game like this. And I guess it does, again, feel like some AAU elements there.
It did. Now, look, I know that we don't want to look at the standings, and I was doing this weeks ago, but I think when you are playing teams that realistically you can find yourself in the same grouping with, I think it's important to understand that these games are going to matter when it comes to the end of the season,
yes.
Which is why I think it's okay. 15-12 for the Suns so far,
yep.
As Mugzar, who I believe is the goon in the chat, says 15 wins, halfway to the 30. The press said we would win. They're 15-12 on the season, okay? They are 2 games ahead of the Grizzlies, who are the 8th seed. The Suns are currently the 7th seed. Golden State dropped down to the 9th seed. They're now 2.5 games back from the Suns. The Suns are 2 games back from the Timberwolves, who they hold the tiebreaker over. Timberwolves are 17-10. Realistically speaking, I know it kind of feels like, okay, the Suns were in the 6th seed, and now they've fallen down to the play-in. I think given the nature of where this roster has been at, and given the nature of their schedule, the fact that they're still over 500, they are the only team in the play-in in the West who is over 500, and they're 4.5 games above the 10th seed, which is at the end of the play-in. To position yourself there, given not just you've missed Jalen Green, but you've also missed Mark Williams on back-to-backs. He's been on a minutes restriction. You've missed Grayson Allen. You've missed Ryan Dunn. Collin Gillespie, who knows what happens with him going forward. You've really been rotating. Dylan Brooks missed a big stretch at the beginning of the season. You have to imagine that getting these tiebreakers over the teams that you are around, Minnesota, Golden State, it might end up being critical in this Western Conference come April.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think about it like the way through the scope of a game, right? Where game-winning plays, you think they're only made in the last 5 minutes, but a game-winning play could be made in the second quarter, right? And that's kind of where we are right now, where games that are important to the playoff race don't just happen in March and April. They also happen in November, December, because you don't want to look back and say, I wish I would have done X, Y, Z in November, December, or January. And I think the interesting thing about where it is with this Suns team right now is that, or the impressive thing with what they did tonight is that they didn't let things compound, right? They lost 2 in a row. They'd already lost at home this week. And when you're a team that's dealing with what you're dealing with and up against what you're up against, you cannot afford long losing streaks. So for the losing streak to have gone past 2 games would have been bad for this team. You halt it tonight, you get some momentum, and you also harm a team that's directly in that with you. So it makes Saturday's game all the much more important because both teams can be much better on Saturday. But what we saw tonight, I think right now the Suns are a better team.
Well, and I think it even actually takes a little bit of the pressure off.
It does a little bit.
Of Saturday. Now, here's the thing. You did lose to the Warriors earlier this year.
Right.
So you lose here, you're down 2-1 in the season series.
Right.
So there's still plenty of pressure there. But the last thing you could have afforded was going 0-2
right. Absolutely
through this
not.
stretch. And I'm sure the Suns aren't looking at it that way as, okay, we got one and now we're on the road in Golden State. But yeah, you're right. It's a playoff simulation. Not just you're playing this team back-to-back, but you're road and you're home and you're flopping that, and so are they. And I think it's interesting because you're playing against a veteran team in this sense. You talk about winning ugly. It's hard sometimes to win ugly against guys who made a career off of winning ugly. Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green. I mean, Steph Curry has been able to step up in clutch moments. So to be able to get a win like that with a team that is this young, a team that is this shorthanded, and a team that has been this doubted, it's huge. And this is something that you take into the playoffs, what you did tonight. Because when does the game get ugly? When does the game slow down, right? We saw Houston really struggle with that last playoffs when they played this very team with basically the identical roster here. You saw it get ugly because Golden State was able to really, really grind it down. And when it got to the half-court game, Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green and Steph Curry before the injury, they were able to put them away. Yeah. And so to be able to take that situation and to harness it and to harness the chaos and to pull out a win and to have that be a repeatable thing that they've done so far this year, it's a testament to the mentality, and the mentality is going to play well when it does come to play in playoff time. And somebody said in the chat, you don't want to be in that 8th seed. Right?
Absolutely not.
Because I think you have any other seed. I know Denver's playing incredible basketball right now. Any other seed that you're in, I think you have a shot, right? Even though you're probably not going to be the favorites, you have a shot. The 8th seed is a little different. But that is for the future about tonight. Devin Booker talked about the reason for his difference in play in the second half, and I think he just kind of clarified a little bit more what he told Amanda post.
I said it in my post game. I took my court shorts off, if you're familiar. It's like some super tight tights to, restrict you from moving too much because I've been coming back from injury. So I retired those. Yeah. I've always declined wearing them. I wore them last game versus the Lakers. Have you ever tried them? If any of you guys ever tried them? They're tight. I mean, I wear tights already, but they're super tight. And maybe it was just an excuse that I was shooting the ball bad.
What led to the change of heart and like finally accepting to put him on for once?
Not wanting to get injured again. I hate being on that sideline, and I was fortunate enough that it was one of our breaks in the season where we had a lot of games. I mean, a lot of days in between games, so only missed 3. But if it was next month or what we're doing come up, it'd have been 7 or 8. So I don't want to miss any more games.
That was kind of my first thought when he said he took that off. I was like, ooh, okay, I'm glad that you were hitting shots, but why exactly were you wearing that in the first place? Obviously, you're coming back from a groin injury. Let's not get you back on the bench there. But I like how he also goes, yeah, maybe it was just an excuse for my poor shooting.
Yeah. Again, now that court shorts number 1 enemy of us and all fans. Basically.
I feel like we got to get some.
And report
Can
on
we just buy them?
how they. I think they're rarely. I mean, he asked everybody if they've had them before, so it must be something
but
that's like
that to me feels like I'm an athlete and that's my life, and I don't realize that I'm talking to a bunch of
like why else
sports journalists.
And why would we have had any court shorts?
Core Shorts Pro 3.0.
There you go.
I mean, they just expensive.
Yeah, there you go. Well, court shorts, come holler at us and send some our way so we can.
Can we expense?
We should get them to holler at us.
I want you to guess how much a pair of core shorts are.
I'm gonna guess 120.
Oh, okay, a little high. $104.99.
I was close. Dang.
Yeah, $104.99. This one only comes in extra large, double extra large, and triple extra large.
So it's just for professional athletes.
There's only 3 left in stock. But whew, that's an expensive pair of underwear, my guy.
Yeah, and especially to impact your performance.
And that's not even like the name brand one. That's like the off brand one. Hold up, I gotta find out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But I got to find out how expensive. Okay, first of all, they're all out of stock.
They must be. They must be hot.
The pro shorts are $100 and then $109, and they got leggings as well, $129.
So there you go. Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, Devin Booker, I have not worn a $100 pair of underwear before. But thank you for assuming that maybe some of us in the media are athletic enough to have said that we have done. I mean, I guess there's a chance that you would have.
Yeah,
there's a chance.
I maxed out at the ones with the pads on the
Wake didn't have the money for that?
The walk-ons weren't in the budget for that.
You go, hey coach, my groin's a little sore. I think I need some pro shorts, buddy. That's on your own dime. And no, we don't do NIL over here yet. So good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm too old for NIL.
Oh man, but look, we did hear a little bit more from Devin Booker tonight. Last thing we'll hear from him is he just talked about Oso Ighodaro and his impact and his growth over his career in this season.
Yeah, I mean he's been working. He's put the work in, and it's his time to show it. So we've been seeing it behind the scenes, and a little bit of a slow start, just getting acquainted with everything. But I think he's getting more and more comfortable every game, and he gives us the versatility to be able to play 5 out, play faster, switch a lot of actions. So I like the dynamic of having Mark and him back and forth.
Look, Oso Ighodaro, we said it before, he's somebody that's going to be a little bit polarizing, but we have seen him put a lot of work in, and I do think that he's improved from his first season as a Phoenix Sun to this year.
Yeah, I think the most important thing to remember, and this goes for any young player outside of Oso, growth isn't necessarily linear. So, you'll see him have some high moments and, really think he's taking some steps forward, and it's because he has, and he might have a misstep or a step backwards or whatever, but remembering that it's all part of the process, and it's not just a 2-3 year thing. It's, a bigger picture thing where give him that next contract and really kind of firmly keep him in that rotation. So I think that he's probably right where he's supposed to be as far as the path, and it might not necessarily be as gratifying as it should be at this point. But I think through the lens of this season, get the ups and downs out of the way now to when these high leverage situations in the postseason kind of come around, he's doing better. So I think that's kind of where it is.
We're not going to play the clip here. The audio is a little rough, but I love this quote from Dylan Brooks. Post-game, asked just kind of about everything. He takes some accountability. He says, got to do some soul searching. That's really it. It's the second time. I'll learn from it. Talking about, obviously, taking that shot at the end there. And I think also probably about the flagrants and all of that. Again, I talked about, I think it was the post-game show, the second Minnesota win, when we were live at Hilo, where it was I understand that we need Dillon to be a certain way, but I don't think that can excuse you fully from accountability when it comes to making mistakes.
Yeah, and I think another one that we didn't even think about because it happened so long ago in the game. This is game 27 of the season, and he's got 9 techs already. So
is it 10 now? Like, does the flagrant count or no?
I don't know if the flagrant count. I think the flagrant's in its own little pool of things, but he's picked up a couple of those too.
If the flagrant counts, it's 10.
But if it doesn't, then it's just 9. But regardless, he's more than halfway there to an automatic suspension. He got an automatic suspension last year for technical fouls, and obviously you want the fire. We talk about the competitive nature. We talk about the assertiveness and aggression on the offensive end, and we always talk about harnessing it as well, right? And a lot of what he does offensively as far as the shots that he takes, out of necessity, given who's available and who isn't available. But, the technical foul was probably avoidable, and it's just one of those things where it's like, you don't want him picking up 7 more. And again, the fact that he's picked up 9 in 27 games and he hasn't even been available for all 27 games leads you to think that he's probably going to get.
Well, he did pick one up when
he wasn't playing, right?
Against the Warriors.
Yeah, so leads you to believe that, like, man, you don't want him missing it, especially because around that time that he would pick up a 7th would be when the games are more high leverage. And you need him to play in these games because you are jostling to get out of the play-in tournament or for playoff positioning. So that's the biggest thing, I think, more than anything else, like the competitive part of the fire that comes with it and him being him as far as that goes, fine. But the technical fouls, your pockets are getting lighter, and also you get closer and closer to your team having to play without you.
Well, yeah, and if you get to the point where you're in the play-in or you're fighting for playoff play-in status and you're trying to stay out of that 8th seed to give you a shot to win a playoff series, every single game matters, and it comes down to it. If Dillon Brooks either misses that play-in, playoff game, or misses the games leading up to it, in April we have some pretty big matchups to end the season. That's going to be like, okay, well, damn, I wish I didn't pick up the technical when I was on the bench against Golden State or on the random game on December 18th, right? But again, it's, we've also won so many games because Dillon Brooks, he was getting physical. And he got physical in this game as well. And he was really good in the first half. You kind of got to live with it. And even hopefully it gets to a point where he doesn't feel like he has to do so much when everybody is back healthy. Maybe it is kind of a mentality thing where, the most dangerous dog is a dog backed into a corner. Right? I think that's the quote. Did I just make that up? I don't know.
If you did, that's a bar.
I'll take it. I don't think I made that up. But, it's like I came up with iron sharpens iron. Yeah,
so you need to trademark that,
I was like, it was like a couple months ago. I was like, how's nobody thought of this yet? But with Dillon, if he can kind of ease in when he knows that Jalen's back, right? He knows Grayson's back. He knows that they're fully healthy. Yeah. Maybe then he can not feel like he has to do so much and get in this mindset of not just, hey, I'm going to do a lot, so I'm going to take a lot of shots offensively, but I'm going to do a lot on the defensive end to get scrappy, to kind of get this game out of rhythm so that we have a shot to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we kind of acknowledge, we talked about that with everybody not named Devin Booker, basically. Everybody is, again, playing a role that's larger than what they expected going into the season. And I think that takes a toll physically, but also takes a toll mentally. So I think that a lot of that, and he said he needs to do some soul searching. So the accountability and the self-awareness shows that this is kind of taking a toll on him. And I think David in the chat said just get the text out of the way and get the suspension out of the way. That would be great, except then every 2 texts after that is another suspension. So I think the best option is just cool out on the technical fouls for a little while.
I think what would be funny is we all pick a game that we think will be the game 16. That Dillon Brooks picks up his 16th technical foul.
I could.
Because here's the thing: if it's gonna happen, which it's
probably going to happen.
Look, it's gonna happen, right? I think even if you told me before the season, will Dillon Brooks get suspended for a game due to technical fouls? I would say yes.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, who's the league leader in technical fouls right now?
Him.
It's got to be him, right?
It's him.
Sorry. I got to know. These are just things that I have to know now. I believe that it is him. Some people are saying this list is stupid. It says Derek Queen with 3.
No, this is right. We got it. It's Dillon Brooks with 9 now. Bobby Portis and Luka Doncic with 5. So he's got a pretty healthy lead.
He is almost double.
Yeah. Listen.
And Luka complains a lot.
Yeah, and I will be fair to Dillon. One, I'm not here I'm not ragging on him for technical fouls. It's a reputation thing a lot of times. I think some players, refs are quicker to whistle you for a technical foul.
How much does Draymond have? Does it say?
4 coming in tonight. Did he pick up? I think he picked up 5 tonight. Did he pick up tech tonight? I think.
I think it was. Yeah.
So he's up to 5 now. So he's in the tie with Bobby Portis, Luka Doncic, who might have gotten tech tonight. They played tonight. So we'll have to look at the updated tally tomorrow. But yeah, just to think about that. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of like a situation too where like refs will probably quicker to whistle it for certain people because they don't want situations to quote unquote escalate.
Yeah.
Right. So I think
too bad it's escalating.
Yeah. It's like So it's just one of those things that I think you deal with it. It's so funny to think that one of his vets was Mike Conley, who to this day has never picked up a technical foul in the NBA.
Do you think last game for Mike Conley just says fuck it and just like loses it? Like pushes somebody to the ground. He's like, oh, I've been waiting to do that. Well, like, if I'm not going to get an all-star appearance, at least I'm going to push somebody to the ground. Yeah. Couple other names I think we should mention tonight. Good defensive game from Jamari Bouye. He continues to get minutes in this shortened rotation. Obviously,
they shorted him a block.
They did short him a block. He blocked Jimmy and he blocked Draymond. They only gave him one. Mm-hmm. Also, really great closeout on one of the 10 Quentin post 3-pointers where Quentin grabbed the ball and was, again, as a 7-footer, he's so wide open. Jamari is literally 2 feet in the restricted area.
Yep.
Sprints out, and as Quentin Post loads up, Jamari is able to get out there, go and contest and force a miss. Just a great game from Jamari Bouye. Overall, I don't feel like we need to talk too much about Ryan Dunn and Royce O'Neal. I feel like their game's pretty self-explanatory tonight. One other player on the Warriors before we get to Super Chats and Steven eventually calls in here. Boom. Look at that. Off the brain. We'll get him set up. Jonathan Kuminga. Tonight, 10 minutes. 2 points. 1 of 5
Hit the over
from
on
the
the minutes, by the way.
Hit the over on the minutes.
Barely.
Under on everything else.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you. I would like to say thank you to Jonathan Kuminga for driving your trade value so low that we're just going to trade you for Nick Richards. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kuminga. We do greatly appreciate that. We also greatly appreciate our guy checking in from the morgue. Let's get here with he was using your full government in pregame. So Steven, Prejean, Garner calling in live from the morgue for the Phoenix Suns 99-98 victory over the Golden State Warriors. Blue collar galore tonight, Steven. I had to break out the fit to match it. What a win for the Suns.
Yeah, I'm making an amendment right now, and I started to do this when we decided to make this a thing. Jordan Goodwin was my number 2. I was met with resistance on the blue-collar spectrum as far as where he is. People saying he's too high, this, that, and the third. His collar is the bluest on the team.
This is breaking news?
No. It's not if you've been understanding the essence of what that is. He is quite literally embodies it from how he's gotten to the opportunity that he got being the last player picked to make the main roster after Jamari Bouye, or before Jamari Bouye got brought in after training camp and preseason and everything. Having a fight and scrap for minutes, fighting and scrapping for possessions, then building that trust with guys, literally guarding Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green in one possession. And then going down on the other end and knocking down a pull-up or getting a contested layup, grabbing an offensive rebound with 0.4 seconds left, and then ended up winning the game with the free throw at the end. His collar is the bluest, and this is a long laundry list of moments that he's compiling that's kind of further supporting this claim.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that at all, especially we talk about it. He has his one putback of the game that we always kind of laugh and joke about. But, I mean, it just so happened that tonight, the what would have been a putback resulted in him getting fouled and knocking down the free throw to win the game. And we had the conversation. I'm curious where you stand on it, too. List him at 6'3", 215. Pound for pound, probably the best offensive rebounder in the league, just at that size, at the position.
There's a guy in New York that will give him a great run for his money.
I wonder how he measures up. That's what I was thinking about.
If you like blue collarness, you're not gonna like it more than me. I would pay great money to watch him and Josh Hart get into a blue collar off for offensive rebound.
Yeah. Just barking at each other.
Yeah.
Just foaming out of the mouth, barking.
Some people love boxing. I love guys that go for offensive rebounds that are undersized like those two are. Let's go.
They like boxing. You like box outs. It's one and the same.
Exactly. Yep.
But
Yeah,
look,
he's in that he's elite in that conversation. To answer your question, Gil, there's only a couple other guys I would consider in that. Obviously, Josh Hart being at the top of that list. Those guys are one of one in multiple respects.
I mentioned in the pregame show, Jordan Goodwin's wearing a mask, automatically give him the blue collar boy of the night. But Steven, this was all in all, it was an ugly win. If we're being just honest about everything, a win is a win. It's great for everything because it ends up with a 99-98 victory. But 2 points difference in this game, a 2-point swing. And the mood of this post-game show is completely different. The Suns take on the Warriors on Saturday. What can they absolutely not repeat on Saturday when they're now on the road against the same team in order to make it 2 wins in a row against them?
Yeah, I'll answer the question in a second. Eric, you know better. You know better. Jay-Z, Hove has said before, there's no such thing as an ugly billionaire. Me, Stephen Prejean Gardner, has said before on this very podcast, there's no such thing as an ugly win. If it's what's desired, it can never be ugly. It's what's desired. If you said they won it on these terms and they looked backwards and they kind of saw it before it actually did, they'd take it. No such thing as an ugly win. Not the prettiest win for sure. But I can't call a win ugly.
Okay, no.
Not the prettiest win.
No. What's the difference? If somebody says, hey, you're ugly, or hey, you're not pretty, it's like, pretty. That's the same shit.
There's a difference between not being pretty and being ugly.
I mean,
sure. You know what, Steven? I'm going to let you cook.
Let me know. We can do a supplemental video on the definition.
Remember that? This is members only content for sure. Pretty, not pretty versus ugly.
1,000%. But no, to answer the actual question, they have to get a better start, man. Last time they played against Golden State, it was not a pretty start, and they found themselves having to play catch-up pretty much the entirety of the game, and they weren't able to do so. Today, they were able to get some, not lucky bounces, because I feel like they earned some of the opportunities that the game presented to them, but they had to scrap and claw for this one in ways that I don't feel like they should have had to, because Golden State didn't play well. Like, they genuinely did not play well. Steph didn't have a great game in any kind of respect. And if the Suns are able to play to their quality, to their style earlier on, I feel like this should be a game where they won comfortably by about 10 to 15 points, if I'm being honest. Now, obviously, you don't make those guaranteed because there's some dudes on the other side of the court, and those dudes also have some jewelry that comes with their cachet as well. But I don't think they played their best game tonight. And I think because of that, if the Suns play even close to what their typical game is, this is a game that we see them win by double digits in a comfortable manner.
Yeah, you said that at one point. You're like, man, it feels like the Suns should be up by 10, 15 points. And that was, I think, in the second half when the Warriors were just continuing to make mistakes after mistake. You mentioned Steph Curry, and we talked about it a lot yesterday. Came in tonight on a heater, off of a game where he made 12 threes, 15 points on 3 of 14 shooting. Did you see anything specifically that the Suns did defensively tonight to limit him? And how do you think that there will be adjustments on both sides? I guess because it kind of feels like a playoff game now. We got the day off, and then they go again on Saturday.
Yeah, it definitely, to your point, you brought it up earlier this week, it feels like a playoff-style situation because of the nature of the home and road within a couple of days of each other. More than anything, it felt like they were very physical with Steph. And if there's ever one weakness that he has outside of the untimely behind-the-back passes or untimely behind-the-back dribbles, it's the physicality. If it's used with the right timing in the right situations, can not rattle him, because I feel like he's almost unrattleable, but it can kind of slightly throw his game off even just a little bit. And if you have a group of personnel that can kind of pull those strings at the right time over the course of a game, you can get some Steph games like this one tonight where it's kind of the suboptimal efficiency in a way that we really hardly ever see from him. So some of that credit goes to Dillon Brooks for sure, but there was a handful of other guys that had their chance at guarding him. Jordan Goodwin, Collin, Gillespie, Ryan Dunn had a little bit of a chance as well. Also, Iguodala on some switches, not necessarily chasing him around screens, but being able to flatten him out and really keep him perimeter oriented and kind of get into his handle some. I think they did a good job collectively, especially in the second half where the defense turned some corners. And it felt like it kind of weighed on him just enough to be able to eke out a win. That being said, to Eric's point in the last question, in their home court, I doubt that's going to be something that you can rely on. Not saying it won't happen, but the chances of it happening at home are a lot slimmer. And I imagine he's not going to have 2 bad games in a row because he is who he is as an all-time
Steph
great.
Curry.
Breaking
Right.
news. He's Steph Curry. Breaking news. Collin Gillespie's Collin Gillespie. There are 2 things that I want to talk about Collin Gillespie with you. First thing is obviously the
He's
injury.
one of those with motion, to answer your question. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. The knee-to-knee contact with Kuminga and everything. What was it like from a fan perspective when that happened? And then when he checked back into the game, just how loud did it get?
Yeah, it was a little concerning because he obviously was on the floor and he was writhing in pain. He was grabbing the knee with the sleeve on it. That definitely wasn't the prettiest of moments. Had to have some teammates come over and kind of console him for a minute. And then true to his kind of Terminator demeanor, just pops up under his own power, hobbles to the bench. And I guess they tell him, no, you need to go get this checked out. So he hobbles to the bench. He might even sat down for a second, then got up under his own power, went to the back, and then comes back out. I think he honestly, he hobbled to the bench, and then he kind of had like a half jog from the bench to the locker room. And then when he came back out, it was like John Cena. And everybody was, oh.
Can you do the theme song?
I can't do the theme song.
Yeah, you can.
You
know it. I know
I
you know it.
genuinely don't know it. I genuinely
Oh, get out of it. You know
yeah,
it.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
No, do it again.
So it was kind of one of those moments. And then he
Come
sits
on.
for like maybe 30 seconds, and Jordan Knott gives him the signal. He gets back in the game and then does what he does. Couple of steals in a timely manner, takes what should have been a charge. They said his heel was on the line. I'm not sure if it was or not. I couldn't tell, but just comes up with timely plays, knocks down some shots early in the fourth quarter as well before the injury, right before that happened. That dude is just a winner. I think that's the best way to put it, and we saw yet another example of that tonight. The only difference is he didn't lose.
Ooh,
Oh, wow. The WWE reference from Steven. Wow. You WWE guy? Or were you at one point?
John Cena is a culture figure, so
That's real.
Good point.
That's real. Speaking of culture, Collin Gillespie. Another question with him. This one a little bit more related to the actual basketball part. You and I talked over the summer about what Collin needed to improve on, and it was beyond the three-point shooting, right? What are you doing around the rim? What are you doing in the mid-range? Something that Gil and I were going back and forth about earlier in the show is how Collin has now leveraged his three-point threat and where he is on the scouting report to be able to now make an impact. I think the most viable one is twice in this game. He pump faked a three. Guy bit on it. Even after the knee injury, guy bit on it. Quentin posted. He drives to the rim and gets a layup. One switching hands to the left, another one just wide open with the right. Have you seen this natural evolution in his game? Not just, okay, he's making threes, he's making shots, but what shots he's taking?
Yeah, I've seen a bit of the shots he's taking part shift some. I think it might have been Dylan Brooks that told him he needed to find his way to making those middies count, which unironically is coming from him. Kind of telling him that. But I think the other part of it too is Collin continuing to step into his own and just playing his game more than he was playing to a role in years past, which speaks to the empowerment part from Jordan Knott and everything that his system is on offense. But with Collin specifically, when he gets in pick and roll, man, there's those two plays early in the fourth quarter before the knee injury happened where I think you hinted at one of them, Eric. He kind of puts the guy in jail and then gets to the midi and then does what he does there. And then the other play was he Nash dribbles underneath the basket, gets off of the ball, gets it back, and then ends up getting into the drive and then gets to the finish on the inside hand. Those are things that he wasn't necessarily doing to the extent that he is now. And I go back to that second drive after he did the Nash dribble. What happened on the Nash dribble is he made Quentin Post switch onto him. So he gets to the perimeter, and now it's Quentin Post that's guarding him. And at that point, he's at his mercy. He has no chance of staying in front of him, especially with the space that Collin was operating in at that moment. And so it's a blow by into a layup. And it's like those little moments are where, okay, the jump shot is awesome, but you have to have a couple of other counter punches if you're going to be an elite super sub, almost like a sixth starter, if you will. And he's ascended into his own right. But while we're on the topic of Collin, I have to go back to the defensive end because it's a little bit of a PSA to a lot of players across the league. Just because Collin is small in stature does not mean you're going to take advantage of him in terms of matchup hunting. Anthony Edwards found out the hard way multiple times to the point where he had to give the Suns an opportunity for merch, which we saw them cash in on today. We've seen Shai Gilgeous-Alexander try it. It hasn't really worked. We've seen LeBron James and Luka Doncic try it in the same game multiple times now. It just hasn't worked. Guys, Jimmy Butler tonight, guys matchup hunting to try to go and get the switch with Collin, and him being solid enough to stay attached to them and not give them an easy opportunity, but then also his teammates being timely with the types of help that they're showing around him when he does get switched onto those guys. It says a lot about the team, but it starts with him because if you can't guard the ball, you can't have a scheme. And he's doing a great job of just staying attached to dudes, making it tough. I have a lot more detail on that in the Notebook series piece that'll drop tomorrow, but this is just another chronicle in that story for Collin this season on the defensive end.
Any final thoughts, Steven? You're heading home for the holidays, so we won't be able to hear from you that often, but obviously this was a good win for the Suns. Any overarching thoughts or thoughts about this game, the Suns in general, your favorite holiday snacks, what you want for Christmas, anything on your mind?
For the show's purposes, all I want for Christmas is the Suns outright playoff berth.
Bang.
And to live in the dust settling on a lot of people taking accountability on social media for their careless use of words and making assumptions and all of these things. Not getting ahead of myself or anything like that, but you asked for a Christmas gift, for a Suns-related Christmas gift, it would be that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being home. I would say though, on the Suns side of things, I'm looking forward to, while I'm home, seeing what those two games, that second game against the Warriors and then that game on Christmas Eve against the Lakers, what those games are going to look like, because they needed to get today's win, job well done there, but they need to go get these next two in succession with one another, again, to really kind of validify themselves, or validate themselves rather, in that kind of middle class of the Western Conference, but also give themselves that tiebreaker against those two teams in particular, because the Suns have been going through all of this injury adversity. What if when Jalen Green returns, they don't have much or any more of that going forward, and teams that really haven't seen it start to have their moments with it? What does that look like in terms of the shape-shifting of the standings? How does that work as an advantage potentially for the Suns? So handling your business in order in this present moment with this kind of hellacious point of the schedule, very important. And then, yeah, turn the calendar going into the new year, hopefully being a team that's top 6 in the Western Conference. I think that'll be a great spot to be in for them.
Oh, that would be awesome. Always awesome hearing from you, Steven. Safe travels. Enjoy your time at home. We'll try not to have any breaking news while you are out there.
Eric, you know better than anybody, man. That is a bad bet. Every time somebody call themselves trying to be responsible and take care of themselves, we get some Suns news. And
hey, you know, maybe it'll be a Christmas miracle, my guy. A Christmas miracle. It could happen. It could.
Nah, I'm not putting no stock.
Breaking news: Devin Booker retires and Jordan Ott decides to start coaching football. Steven's calling in from home, and that's going to be an announcement on Christmas Day. Although I heard Ott's going to go coach the Ravens, so I think you should be pretty happy.
Hey, listen, he got the culture. He got the culture in him for sure. But he's from Pennsylvania. He probably don't like too much of the Ravens, but
Steelers guy.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Steven, we appreciate you. Of course, if you are a Suns fan, you got to follow Steven at StevenPG3. That's Steven with a PH.
Real quick, my bad. Ayrton probably would have given me an uppercut if I forgot. We got some fun coming for y'all Saturday morning, film session wise. So Be on the lookout for that. And then I mentioned earlier the notebook will be out tomorrow. So yeah, we got y'all covered while I'm gonna be away from everything. We got some things on back order, so be on the lookout for the content. We appreciate all of y'all in the chat, and I won't get to see y'all, so enjoy yourselves over the holidays. Be safe, take care of yourselves, and please enjoy this time with your loved ones. Let somebody know that you love them, and let them feel that as well.
We'll see you for the Jonathan Kuminga Breaking News Trade Pod as soon as you have the most important family outing. We appreciate you, man. Make sure you follow Steven at StevenPG3. That's Steven with a PH, dropping incredible stuff like explains and breakdowns and everything of the sort. And when he's not at home, enjoying much-deserved time with his family, he is at every Phoenix Suns practice, shoot-around, Valley Suns game, and home game. He, of course, is our man with boots on the ground. So make sure you give him a follow again at StevenPG3. See you around, man.
Safe
Happy
travels,
holidays.
SPG.
Safe travels. All right, let's knock out these super chats here, round things out as we approach midnight. It's your time to shine, Gil.
Whew. Where we start?
Oh, you know where to start.
Be calm. God bless the Seahawks and go Suns. I see y'all.
Just keep ripping them off, honestly.
Be calm. Hawks up, man. Sam Darnold, we won.
This Seahawks stuff is just making me sick. At least it's the Rams that you got to win over.
A double win. I'm an effing cream, man.
No, say that again. I couldn't really hear you on that one.
Double win. I'm an effing cream, man. Snatch. A double win. Shout out to double win.
Oh, I love that. Super chat from Kevon Davis says, Suns dub, success Rams hate watch, and my bets hit. W. Big W for you. I can only relate to the Suns win. I didn't get a hate watch the Rams, but my bets also didn't hit. But thank you for being here, Kevon. And you're back.
Be calm. Super chat, $10. Suns up, Suns up, Suns up. Go Hawks. Sam Darnold is for real. Go Hawks. And I see my ex out there making it work. And much love. A double win, a Suns and Seahawks win. Wait a second. Watch out now.
Oh.
Carolina and 49ers, your next. Take notes. OHIO. I don't know about the Carolina, you're next now. Come on.
This is where you draw the line with B.
We might have to draw a line here. We might have to draw a line here. We'll see. December 28th. We'll see at the bank.
Oh, at the bank. Lonnie with a $1.99 super chat says, we beat the refs by 1. It's real, Lonnie. That's real. And let's get out of here. Of course, there's only one way to do it.
I can't stop throwing up. OMG. Crying, laughing. Woozy. Sick. Crying, laughing. Snatch all day.
We got to clip that because he didn't even say be calm, see clearly. He just started saying it.
That's on me.
No better way to round it out. Thanks for keeping the lights on in here. Be calm, see clearly, even though I cannot see clearly right now. That's a joke. I'm fine. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Become a member today. Suns show is off tomorrow. Back on Saturday. Pregame. Post-game show as they take on the Warriors for round 3 of the season, round 2 in 3 days, coming off a 99-98 victory. But just because we are off tomorrow doesn't mean there isn't plenty for you to enjoy here on PHNX Sports. Of course, Southwest Bias with Espo tomorrow morning. If you are missing him, I'm sure he'll give his thoughts on the Suns. Of course, Kenny Dillingham saga with ASU. The Wildcats show just had Brent Brennan on. They're leading up to a big bowl season for them, even though it makes me sick to my stomach. Diamondbacks, offseason trade rumors, signing rumors, Alex Bregman, Ketel Marte, and of course, PHNX Cardinals trudging through the large pile of doo-doo that is the Cardinals season as they take on the Falcons this weekend. And boy, that game's going to suck, but the guys at PHNX Cardinals don't suck. And luckily, we have all of the fun here on PHNX Suns. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. Did I forget a show? I think I hit every show. Awesome. You can follow, of course, the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. You can follow him at Freckled Mamba. And of course, you can follow Gil at Gil McGregor _. And I use the term follow on the social media sense, be calm, see clearly. Do not just follow Gil around.
It might be beef over this game next week.
Might be beef. Trouble in paradise with Be Calm, See Clearly and Gil. And you can follow me at ERAKRUBY. Why? Until Saturday, be in a golden state of mind.
We all silly like the mayor.